Okay, we're going to wrap this unit up with our last lesson, lesson 5, and we're going to be looking at finding the derivative of inverse trig functions. So it's kind of short and sweet. Just want to get you familiar with the notations and the derivatives, and we'll be good. Okay, so here we have the inverse cosine, inverse tangent, inverse cosine, inverse sine, inverse tangent, and their reciprocals, inverse secant, inverse cosecant, inverse cotangent. And I also want to remind us that if you ever see arc cosine or arc sine, that is the same thing as inverse. So ARC represents inverse. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So here's one example, or our first example. Find the derivative of inverse sine of 2x. So here is my formula for finding the derivative, and that derivative is u prime over the square root of 1 minus u squared. So whatever u is, the numerator is u prime, and then you divide that by the square root of 1 minus u squared. Okay, so let's just do it. So what's my u? My u is 2x. So I'm going to have the derivative of u, which is 2, over the square root of 1 minus, my u is 2x, and I will square it. And that reduces down to 2 over 1 minus 4x squared. And there's your derivative. So it's just a matter of memorizing and knowing these formulas. All right, next one, let's look at the inverse tangent of 3x. Let's find its derivative, and that will be u prime, which is going to be 3 over 1 plus u squared. Well, what was u? 3x, and square it. And so that's going to be 3 over 1 plus 9x squared. So it's just a matter of getting familiar and used to finding the derivatives of the inverse trig functions. All right, and then finally, let's find the derivative of inverse sine of the square root of x. Well, we've got a radical, so don't forget, let's first rewrite it as inverse sine of x to the 1/2. Okay, so our derivative is u prime, so that would be 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 over the square root of 1 minus x to the 1/2 squared. So that's going to turn out to be, it's pretty nasty, but 1/2 x to the negative 1/2 over the square root of 1 minus x. When you take x to the 1/2 and square it, you're left with x. So there's your derivative. So this is just a matter of making sure that you know how and when to use those formulas. So there they are. Okay? All right. And that's going to wrap up Unit 3.